Thank you, Tom. So I'm calling this little workshop a sneak peek into leadership. And why sneak peek? Because leadership is a very broad term. It's a gigantic topic. This morning I did research on Google. I Googled the word leadership. Can you see the number there? 5,830,000,000,000 results. That is the word, the reference on the word leadership. So don't expect that I will be done with the subject, with the topic tonight. Maybe if you think that was a good workshop, we can keep the conversation going later. But tonight is just a sneak peek. It's just a quick run through the topic. So tonight, what can you expect? What do I expect? I expect to talk about the definition, and I'm going to talk just about 3 definitions of leadership, and also about the levels of leadership, according to an author called John Maxwell. And then, let's talk about what it takes to be a leader. Some key principles, foundational principles in order to be a leader, which are credibility. And believe me, credibility is very important. Second, ownership. Third, vulnerability. And lastly, a thing that I'm calling a higher reason. Before we start, let's do a trivia of famous people. Who is she?
I can't remember her name, but she's in my ranch. The girl that was shot.
She is from Pakistan. She is from Pakistan. Her name is Malala Yousafzai, or just Malala. Who is he? Terry Fox. Who is he? Nelson Mandela. And who are they? These are the founders of the Greenpeace. Okay, let's dive into the definition. According to the website, The Balanced Small Business, leadership is the art of motivating a group of people towards accomplishing a goal. Is the art of motivating a group of people towards a goal. According to the author, Kevin Cruz, who is an expert in management, for him, leadership is the process of social influence which maximizes the effort of a group of people. And John Maxwell, which is another great name in the leadership subject, he says that leadership is nothing more, nothing less than influence. Being a leader is being able to influence. And all of us, we experience leadership at some level. Husbands who want their wives to do a certain dish, or to put up with a certain clothes, dressing, they influence their wives. Wives who want to have the faucet changed will influence their husbands. Parents who want their kids to behave well, they will influence their kids. So leadership, at some point, all of us, we experience that. Leadership is not a matter of, this is for my boss, it's not for me. We are constantly influencing somehow. So, we saw the famous people. Who are they? Who is Malala? Why is she famous? It's not because she was shot. She is famous because another thing.
She stood up for injustice. She wanted girls to go to school.
Exactly. Malala, according to the Pakistan Prime Minister, is the most famous Pakistani citizen. Why? Because at the age of 11, she looked around and she saw that girls in Pakistan didn't have right access to education. Just for the fact that they were girls. They couldn't have education. And at the age of 11, Malala started doing something about the situation. How about Terry Fox? What is his story? Back in the 70s, Terry Fox was diagnosed with bone cancer at the age of 17. Back in the 70s, imagine. At that time, if he was diagnosed with cancer a year before, maybe he was still alive today. But because at that time, science and the whole society wasn't worried or wasn't concerned about cancer, nobody was speaking about cancer, so there was no early diagnosis. So Terry Fox in 1980 started, after having his right leg amputated, he started a marathon. Not just a marathon, but a marathon to cross Canada from east to west, from Newfoundland to British Columbia. And he started alone. He, his best friend, and his brother. Halfway through the marathon, he had the whole country, the whole Canada on board, on his idea, on his cause, which was raising awareness about cancer and also raising money. In 2017, the Terry Fox Foundation thank you, teacher. Raised $750 million towards cancer research. And how about Mandela?
Nelson Mandela, the man who ended apartheid in South Africa.
The man who ended apartheid in South Africa. And did you know that that man spent 27 years in prison? And he went from being in prison for 27 years to become the first fully elected, democratic elected president of South Africa, was Nelson Mandela. And now let's imagine, let's do an exercise. Now that we live in a global warming environment, and everybody talks about global warming. Let's imagine a world where there is no Greenpeace, where there is nobody to fight against the big companies that pollute the oceans, burn the forests, pollute every ecosystem in this planet. Imagine that world. Is it a good world? No, it's not. Those guys, they founded Greenpeace to fight the big companies, to fight the great polluters. So, what all of these people have in common? What unites them? they have influence. They change things. They mobilize people. They have influenced those around them. They have changed the situations around them. And lastly, they have led those around them. These people were able to write their names in the history because what they did. Because they exercised their power of influence. Leadership is influence.
So the influence be good influence or bad influence can also be considered as leadership.
Yes, Hitler was a leader.
Oh,
Hitler was a leader.
so
Yeah.
good or bad influence can still be qualification leadership.
For leadership, good or bad.
Yeah.
So now that we know what is leadership and we have a picture in our minds of leaders, let's look into the levels of leadership. According to John Maxwell, who wrote an entire book on this subject, the 5 levels of leadership, he defines the levels as being the first one, the level position or just rights. People follow leaders because they have to. If you are a professor at the university, your students, they follow you because they have to, because they need the grades, because they need the diploma. If you are a father or a mother, your kids follow you because they have to. You have a title, you have a position. That is the lowest level of leadership. And there is a very good thing about that. The leadership position means that somebody believes in you. Somebody sees potential in you. So you use the leadership, the position leadership, to grow from there. And then you go to the second level, which is the permission level or relationship. In this level, you start getting to know your people, your team. And people follow you because they want you. Because they get to know you. They get to be influenced by you. And they want to follow you. And then from there, you go to the third level, which is production. And here, you show results. Once you have the position to be a leader, and once you have built relationship with your team, with the people around you, and they follow you because they want, now everybody comes together to work and bring solutions. Now these people, your team, they are with you seeking for solutions, seeking to work together toward that common goal. And from there, you go to the level 4, which is people development. And here, people will follow you because of what you have done for them individually. Imagine that you have been working for a while with your team, and you have grown on the relationship with them. You know where they live, you know where they are from, you know a lot about their lives. Now you start identifying the potential in every member of your team, and you start working with them to bringing them to the leadership position as well. I consider that this must be the best level to be, which is mentoring and developing people. There is a saying that says, the top is a lonely place. John Maxwell says, the top is a lonely place for bad leaders. Because the good leaders, they will develop others to be there with them. They will be together. There is no such thing as, I am the leader, you stay there. No, the good leaders, they will develop others and bring them together. And finally, the fifth level is the level called pinnacle, or the level of respect. Now, people follow you because of who you are, because of who you are and what you have done. Here you become known not only in your organization, but you become known in your field. You become known in the whole industry. And here I can cite some names that everybody recognizes as a leader, as a well-known and well-spread leader, like Mother Teresa. She was a nun who started working with poor people in India, far away from here, and still we know her. Al Gore. Al Gore was the vice president of the United States, but he's not famous because of that. Why is he famous? Because of his fight for the environment. He is an advocate of the environment. So these people, they become, they reach the last level, which is the pinnacle. Just a second. And now that we have seen the levels, let me talk about movies. This movie was released in February this year. It's called Alita, the Battle Angel. It's a nice movie, very entertaining. And the story is that Alita is an android. She's a robot. And the movie starts when the doctor, the scientist, finds her head in a garbage dump. And then he gives her a nice and very girly body. And she gets very confused with that body. She has to learn how to walk. And finally, she discovers that she's actually a fighter. And that body is destroyed at some point, and she gains a stronger body, which is this one. And the whole movie is about her journey to become the greatest warrior of her time in a very far away future. Anyway, I won't spoil the movie. It's just enough to say that she became the ultimate solution for humanity. And we're going to talk more about Alita later. So, what does it take to develop leadership? I told you, everybody in this room, at some point, will exercise leadership. Willing or not. And as Tom has reminded us, can be a good leadership or a bad leadership. Good influence and bad influence. What does it take? As I told you, there are lots of concepts and lots of content about leadership. I chose to talk about it takes credibility. It takes ownership. It takes vulnerability. And finally, it will take you a high reason. What is credibility? According to Oxford Dictionary, credibility is the quality that somebody or something has that makes people believe or trust in them. Does Apple have credibility? Everybody trusts an Apple product. We trust them. We trust that they have good quality. Even if you don't use it. I don't use Apple. I refuse. But I recognize they are the best. They are the best. I don't agree with that. Anyway, so credibility is the quality that makes people believe in you. They will trust you. If you want to be a leader, sure, you need to be credible. And how do you become credible? How do you develop credibility? Well, first of all, there is one person, the most important person in the world, that you need to convince first. It's yourself. First of all, you need to convince yourself. You need to be credible to yourself. And then you start with yourself, making questions like, who am I? Who am I? Am I a son? Am I a husband? Am I an employee? Who am I? There are many ways you can use to discover that, to answer that question. You can use personality profile, personality assessment tests. Are you phlegmatic? Are you a sanguine person? Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Are you a people person or you don't care about people? So there are many ways to discover that. How do you deal with pressure? Under pressure, you have a meltdown, you cry, or you tough it up. How do you deal with pressure? How do you deal with frustration? Do you go home, open the freezer and dig into a nice green pot and eat it alone? Or you go to the washroom, close the door and cry? Or you become angry and pounding? How do you deal with that? Who are you? Then the next question is, what are my values? My ethical values. Is it okay to tell a white lie? Do you accept that it's okay? It's okay to receive a small gift? Just big gifts? No. Small gift is okay. What are your values? Ethical values. What are your relational values? Are you a person who pushes people away? Your subordinates or your colleagues never have the chance to come close to you and share with you problems? What kind of relation do you develop? Lastly, what is success for you? Success for you is being promoted no matter what? Is being rich? Is having a lot of likes on social media? What makes you happy? You see, to become a leader is a little complicated because we have to answer all these questions, and it's just for us. It's the first person. When you go out there and you expose yourself, you need to know yourself. Alita. The movie starts with a head in a dump, in a garbage dump. And then, through the many operations, she receives a new body, she becomes alive, but now she needs to learn how to walk, how to move her body, her muscles, how to recognize that body. She goes through a process of self-discovery. It's an interesting move if you look through the lens of leadership. This is the same process we should go through. What are my strengths? What are my potential? What is my potential? What I'm good at? Am I willing to do everything out there? Am I good at everything? Integrity. Nobody will follow a dishonest person. Nobody will follow somebody is double-faced. None of us like a friend who is double-faced. And integrity, according to John Maxwell, isn't what we do so much, is who we are. And who we are, in turn, determines what we do. If we are a dishonest person, we will do dishonest things. And then we cannot expect people to follow us. According to Oxford Dictionary, integrity is the state of being whole and not divided. I asked on Facebook, for those who are my friends on Facebook, maybe have noticed, I asked, what other word could I define a person who has integrity? In my language, in Portuguese, if you have a quality, you have a subjective for that quality. I can tell that person is this. In English, it's almost the same word. A person who has integrity in Portuguese is an integral person. But in English, integrity is the quality. The person is not the integral person. A person who has integrity is a wholesome person, or wholehearted. So, through the word, we can imagine integrity is very important. You are the same in front of me, to my face, and you are the same on my back. I am the same to your face, and I'm the same in your back. Nobody will follow you if you have two faces, if you don't have integrity. And just to refresh our memories, 2 years ago we had that scandal, the Panama Papers. There is even a movie on Netflix called The Laundromat that tells that story. Lots of rich people around the world were caught in a scandal where they were using offshore companies to avoid paying taxes. People all over North America, South America, Europe. And that is shocking, because you don't expect rich people, executives, CEOs of companies to have that kind of behavior. And second, the SNC-Lavalin scandal. High executives, high people, all C of the company, CFO, CEO, CIO, people on the top were involved in corruption, in bribery. I bet they don't have many followers. And lastly, to have credibility, you have to show results. You have to show that you are able to translate your knowledge into execution, into reality. Your knowledge leaves your head and becomes something. You have to prove that you are able to have hands-on, to work, to go down and work. It's not just theory out of your head. This is another book, and I strongly recommend it. This book is the result of a research of Brené Brown. She's a PhD in social work, and she presents a problem and offers a solution in this book. The problem she calls scarcity. And scarcity is the phenomenon that we are not enough. We are not enough smart. Let me rephrase. We are not smart enough. We are not rich enough. We are not skilled enough. Our English is not good enough. We are not beautiful enough. We live in an era where we are not enough. And because we live in this era, we receive tons of criticism. It's easier to criticize than to make a compliment. We live in an era where in a matter of minutes, somebody can spread a word to the whole world. It's just a matter of a tweet on Twitter. And you can share a criticism. And then she says, this puts in a difficult position, a difficult situation, which is, since we are bombarded with not enough, with you are not good enough, you are not prepared enough, we close down, we shut up. And we do like an oyster. At the smallest sign of danger, we close, we shut down. And then we put on masks. We go around smiling, we go around toughing up, but actually we don't show ourselves, our true selves. We don't expose ourselves. And the solution she offers is vulnerability. She says, vulnerability is uncertainty, is risk, is emotional exposure. It's not weakness, and the uncertainty, the risk, and the emotional exposure we face every day are not optional. Our only choice is a question of engagement. Our willingness to own and engage with our vulnerability determines the depth of our courage and the clarity of our purpose. When we are criticized, we shut down, we close ourselves, we don't show who we are. And let me give you an example. Let's say you would love to record a CD. You think you can sing. You want to sing. And then because somebody says, you call this singing? Are you serious? Do you think you can sing? Done. The damage is done. That singer will never more expose himself to recording a CD. The fear of receiving that kind of criticism shut her up. And then Brené Brown, who has interviewed more than 80,000 people along 2 decades of research, she says the solution for that situation is vulnerability, is when we have the courage to expose ourselves and to say to the world, this is me. I am imperfect. I'm not perfect, but this is me. This is what I have to offer. And then I think this has everything to do with leadership. Because being in a position of leadership requires courage. requires that you expose yourself with your talents and also with your imperfections. When you climb to a position of leadership, you'll be exposed to other people's attention. You're going to call everybody's attention to you. And you are vulnerable. At that moment, you are vulnerable. But then if you make a mistake, that's okay. Everybody, everywhere, every time makes a mistake. None of us here is perfect. So she calls us to drop our shells, to drop our masks and be ourselves, to look at each other's eyes and say, hey, you are imperfect, so am I. Let's walk together. Ownership, and here comes another book I recommend. Extreme Ownership. This book was written by two ex-SEALs commanders, Jocko Willink and Leif Baden. And they were together in the Iraqi war. And they wrote this book, how U.S. Navy SEALs win, lead, and win. And from this book I extracted two great lessons for us and for anybody who wants to climb to a leadership position. The first one is you are entirely responsible. It all comes down to you. Stop blaming others. Stop making excuses. That means nobody else in your life is responsible for your life. Only you. You want better grades? Take ownership of your study time. Take ownership of your life and go for it. You want a higher salary? Take ownership for it. Work harder. Don't blame your boss. Don't blame your colleagues. Don't blame the teacher. You are responsible for your life. Leaders, they must be responsible for their leadership. And the second great lesson is, in order to be a leader, you have to own the good and the bad. Own it. When we are in a leadership position, we certainly are going to make mistakes. And then we have to own them. If the project doesn't go and doesn't meet the deadline, you don't say, the team is bad. My team failed. You say, it's my fault. Something happened that I dropped the ball. It's my fault. We don't blame others. We own it. Leadership requires ownership. And coming to the end, let's talk about the higher reason. Leadership demands a lot of work and sacrifices. Let's remember the level 3, which is, no, not the level 3, the level 4, which is people development. It will be required you spend time with that person you don't like. You have to develop them. It's your team. You have to seek the good of the whole team. It requires that you are going to invest your time, sometimes your money, into other people's life. It requires a lot. If you don't have a high reason to do that, you may give up. Check your ego. Being the leader doesn't mean you know everything, you have all the answers. It's quite the opposite. Some people say that to be a smart leader is to find people smarter than you and put them to work for you. So that means that smarter people, they have better answers than you. And then you have to check your ego and admit to yourself that you don't know the answer. You have to ask. Go to those who know the answer. It's a humbling position, being a leader. And then we have to keep in mind the golden rule, which is do to others what you want them to do to you. Or treat others as you would like to be treated. Being leader doesn't mean you are in the top, in the Olympus, and looking down people downhill and telling them what to do. Means that many times you have to go down and work side by side with them. You have to work on your ego, on your pride, and that takes a lot of work. And let's talk about Anita for the last time. Alita is, in the movie, is the savior. And since she starts recovering her memory, her life, she feels something greater is calling her. She feels that she was created for something else. She wasn't created to the garbage. She wasn't created to the dump. She was created for something higher. And that's the same thing with leaders. We need to pursue something higher. We are in a position that is not by chance. You have to look for the higher reason. Otherwise, there will be days you don't want to leave the bed. There will be days very frustrating, very stressful. And if you don't have that higher motivation, you are in a track to failure. And talking about a higher reason, let me read this statement. Purpose and meaning are widely recognized as essential to human flourishing, and so spirituality has become increasingly acceptable as a dimension of many in the workplace, including leaders. And this statement wasn't me who created. It's part of this study published in the Graduate Business Review Journal in 2017. It's a study saying that more and more in the workplace, the spirituality is being welcomed. And I want to bring it up. I could talk about the other foundations for leaders. I want to bring this topic. In the leadership career, we face lots of stress, lots of disappointments, lots of frustration, lots of politics. We have to develop a mechanism to cope with all that pressure, all that stress. And I want to invite spirituality to this conversation. Spirituality. A large volume of research shows that people who are more religious or spiritual have better mental health and adapt more quickly to health problems compared to those who are less religious or less spiritual. You may say, Clever, I don't care about this topic. It's not me that's saying that. It's the International Scholarly Research Network. Through this study, Religion, Spirituality, and Health, their research and clinical implications, was published in 2012. And the National Institute of Health of the United States. The science is coming along to say we need to take care of our spirituality. Is the science who is saying that? They are saying people who are more religious have better health. They can prove why. It's a fact. Another study, and actually this is a lecture. Everybody can watch. It's available to watch. Published to the National Institute of Health of the United States. And the title of the lecture is Church Attendance is Correlated to Increased Longevity. Is the National Health Institute saying we can live longer if we practice spirituality, if we care about spirituality? And to put an end to this workshop, the scientist and philosopher Blaise Pascal, he came up with this statement. There is a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of every man, which cannot be filled by any created thing, but only by God, the Creator, made known through Jesus. I can tell from my own experience in leadership, if it wasn't for Jesus being my counselor, being my psychologist, I certainly wouldn't be here now. Certainly. Blaise Pascal describes that every man has a hunger for the higher. Some people call it the energy, some people call it the boss, the universe. Pascal was direct. The human heart hungers for God. The science is saying those who have a relationship with God live longer and live better. The business committee is saying more and more leaders who are who exercise spirituality are better leaders. They are more able to resolve conflicts. They are more able to bring the teams together. You may say, Clever, I don't care. I don't believe in God. You don't need to trust me. You can trust the science. I can tell you by my experience. You're going to need a lot of counseling sessions when you're a leader. And there is nobody better than Jesus to listen to you and to give you guidance. That is my word. Thank you. And I want to say a special thank you to you. It's important your support.